Where's Sung Woo?
No, it's good.
Landed in St. Louis. We are here at MoABA, and I'm with
Jason.
and
Travis.
and today we're talking about Business Bootcamp. Let's go.
So Jay, it was, I got an email from Todd Streff and Sung Woo Kong, who I think are on the board. They are on the board. And he asked if I would be interested. I'm sure John Gusero got involved with that conversation as well. He asked if I'd be interested in coming out and doing something about business. That was about as, and I was like, well, what are you looking for? You know, I mean, I've got this, I wanted to talk about the performance-based pay, you know, for a long time. And he was like, well, let's do a panel then. Do you know anybody else? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know two people. And then I was thinking, wow, we could do a UNT thing. I asked you, and I don't know, you don't do this sort of thing that often. So
Not anymore.
I've never done it.
I said no twice, so I just didn't have time. But I'm glad that I came.
Yeah.
Because
And then Kathleen was like, what is this you're trying to get me into? She was like, what is this? And I was like, it's just a panel. Relax, you know, we're just going
it
to
was
talk
actually
about
their
things and
first
resources.
panel like that. They had never done a panel before here at MoABA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's their first
Yeah,
one.
I know there's business boot camps are popping up all over. I like that this business boot camp had 3 business owners and practitioners.
Yeah, that were actually in business, doing
Yeah,
business,
they're in
and
business now.
having done it for more than 15 years. Like, well, no, I mean Kathleen did a great job because
gosh.
what she did was she brought the basic principles of accounting into a regional conference, which I think was unique because most people aren't used to looking at a P&L or a balance sheet, and so she gave some
It was
basic.
beyond that.
Yeah,
The
it was-
idea of talking about
yeah.
above the line and below the line and talking about knowing per client what you have then to translate that into what you can pay.
What your exact
A
cost
BCBA.
is by the hour.
In order to stay competitive, you constantly have to be raising your salary for these BCBAs or you're not going to get them. You're just not going to get them.
Yeah, what I liked is she's showing everyone a measurement system on how to measure performance so that you can know what your costs, what your expenses are, what your income is, and you can measure all that stuff where, you got to do that anyway.
She just dialed it down.
Her knowing the costs and expenses
yes.
is, measurement.
If you don't have those costs and expenses, you cannot do employee engagement. Or if you do, it's like, hey, are you doing good today? All right, next person, speed dial. That's it. It's not going to be this systematic way that you share it with all the directors and have it as nailed down as you
Well, no,
present.
you can have that without the numbers, but you're going to be risking your whole financial situation. But you can't have engagement without a good, solid program. That's true, and that takes time.
So if you could boil down your talk into 3 take-home points in 20 seconds, what would those be?
Well, first of all, if you build an organization, you've got to have an identity. And to have an organizational identity, you have to have engaged employees. So that takes time. So you have to do the research there to figure out, what does that mean? What's an engaged employee? What's an actively disengaged employee? What's a disengaged employee? And you have to measure that. And so there's only one way to do that. You have to do it frequent. You can do it through surveys.
Can't you just sniff them out?
No, you can't, because an actively disengaged employee is going to undermine the company, and you're not going to be able to detect that unless someone comes and tells you. But so you need an ongoing system for evaluating that, and that's what you do with a 30-second survey.
I like how you evaluate participation in your events.
Yeah.
It's not part of the monetary thing, but you just are watching who, and you're taking data on who attends,
Right.
all these stuff that you guys put money into to try to bring about communal engagement. And if somebody doesn't show up repeatedly to that, then that might be something that you want to look at.
That's an indicator for what do we need to do with this person? Do we need to learn more about what they want? We want people to find their niche, and so to do that, you have to have an engagement program. Otherwise, you're just going to be kind of guessing, and you don't want to guess because we're not good guessers.
10 years ago, what would have our response been if someone didn't show up at our Christmas parties and our barbecues? They're not slotted for leadership. What you just said, though, is what can we do differently to engage them more? So 5 years ago, if you would have asked me that, I would have been like, yeah, they're not long for, I'm not going to make them a leader. Not, I need to change my entire approach to them as an employee. That is the new way, I think, that we have to respond to this culture and this generation of employees, is we have to actively go after them.
And you have to give them a reason to engage. Otherwise, they're not going to.
What's
just
a
like
reason,
you wouldn't.
What's a reason to engage?
to feel connected to the company, to feel important. Make sure that their opinion counts, that they're valued, and it takes work to do that. And you have to work on that every single day. It's not like an annual review and a holiday party. That doesn't work.
How would you address that most employees have very divergent ways of feeling valued? Or say one person feels valued this way. How do you capture all those when one person doesn't like spinning the wheel for a reward, but one does? How do you capture that in a general program?
You have to have layered levels of engagement. So if you have multiple layers, we have probably 10 to 12 layers of engagement. So if number one doesn't really satisfy, there's number two, number three. You have to have a variety of options, otherwise you're going to miss those folks. And then we also do stay interviews. So
instead of exit interviews,
my business development director, Steve Foreman, who's a phenomenal leader, he will do stay interviews to keep a surprise as to, we want folks to stay and we want to see them successful. If you don't do those stay interviews, then well, people can get on an island. Then the participation goes down, and you don't want that. You want them to feel valued, and they can't feel valued on an island. So
I like the stay interviews. I don't think exit interviews are that valuable, but I think stay interviews.
Yeah, stay interviews are better, right?
Why are you continuing to work for us? Why are you continuing? What is keeping you here? I mean, you're being offered you're getting an email every day offering you a job for more money.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you not taking that? Are you just kind of complacent? Or why are you not taking
If someone
that?
feels valued and connected to the company, they don't have a reason to leave. One thing I hear all the time is just this push for OBM. But when I go, across the country and I observe all these different centers and consulting agency, I don't see OBM, So, but performance pay is important, right? You got to have some kind of performance pay, something beyond just a salary, because we know what happens when you just have fixed interval schedules of reinforcement, right?
Right.
So how has your performance pay helped BSOTR?
I think what it's done is it's allowed us to really, you can really tweak it to where you can say, we need to track a person that writes a prescription and says Johnny needs 18 hours a week, and then we're only providing 9. That is a red flag. If we're not tracking that, that could be either we don't have capacity, or that could be they're not scheduling, or they might need some help with scheduling.
So you incentivize utilization?
Yes, higher utilization.
How do you do that?
Utilization. That goes on the matrix scorecard, which is, it's an Excel sheet that has these little numbers that are put in, and that's a percentage.
That's the Abernathy method.
I think Abernathy wrote about it.
Mm-hmm.
The clinical then is when you meet with your supervisor and they review your clinical skill set, might be your professionalism or whatever. That also spits out a percentage.
But does the frontline staff have the same program as the executive leadership staff?
The frontline staff are incorporated in their supervisor, their direct supervisor. Mm-hmm. But it's only right now we only have certified folks on the program. So it's BCABAs, BCBAs, and that's it.
Okay, for the performance pay.
Yeah, for the performance pay. But it's based on the tiers in which they're functioning. So if you have a regional coordinator, they're getting a percentage of their gross monthly salary as a starting point for that bonus. And then that's multiplied by the percentages from the billing performance, from the clinical performance, and then that's multiplied by our profit index. That spits out what your monthly is. So over the course, since we implemented it, we've given away, we provided incentives about $100,000.
And all that was earned.
That's 3 years.
All that was earned.
All of it was earned.
Okay.
Not given away. Right.
Yeah.
It's earned through top performance.
Yeah.
So it's about $107,000, I think, and that's over 4 years. So it's not a tremendous amount of money if you think about it.
But it matters because a lot of people aren't doing that. And your program inspired me to develop a performance pay program for our company, and we've developed it for the seniors and the clinical supervisors and even the specialists, and I think it's really helped keep people engaged, and you can have that flexibility. If I want to work and I've got other things to do, I can kind of maintain, but if I have extra time, I can earn more. Yeah. I think high performers need to know they're valued for the high performance versus a low performer, say, and they're making the same amount of money on a salary only, situation, that's going to be another problem of engagement and everything else.
I mean, I tell you too, you can have that big money bonus system, but if you're not engaging your employees, they're going to go somewhere where they feel valued.
Right.
If the only way you confer value is through a bonus email they get, and no communication, no requesting their input about how they're enjoying their job, how they would prefer communication, all of that, you're not checking them, then they're going to go anyway.
It has to be integrated. You have to have the engagement, performance pay integrated. It has to come together.
Yeah, I know. There you go.
All right, I'm going to ask you, each of you, what did you like most about MoABA, and would you come back
I
again?
like most. I like the people. I think Todd is nice and laid back. And you know what? They took care of us. So what's cool about regional conferences is when we came here, we had something to do every single day. It wasn't like we got here and then we just waited to speak and we were sitting in a hotel room. So we had dinner and we had the brewery. We had all kinds of stuff to do.
Lunches, yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, they took care of us.
The thing I like about the MoABA and what I like best is just the availability of these amazing top tier speakers that you're sitting next to. It's not like you have to wait in line to talk to them.
You know
a lot
what?
of availability and access.
I was blown away by the poster session. The quality
Really?
of work here
great.
is unbelievable.
I really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the
I mean,
students that were Sungwoo students.
as far as almost all of them are.
Too bad he didn't make it,
It's
but
not here.
it's okay.
I think my takeaway was I wish somebody would I wish I could have seen your and Kathleen's presentation 10 years ago. Would have saved me, although I'm not really a rule governed guy, I probably would have to have contacted the
But 10 years ago, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
Not in ABA.
If I could have heard some of that stuff, then it would have saved me a lot of.
The stuff we were seeing was all government nonprofit stuff. We're for-profit, employee-based. Employees are our number one priority. Not a grant, not students. We were in an academic 10 years ago. That's what we got was that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just talking about running the business stuff, the stuff we talked about, which is real and practical. It wasn't like obtuse.
But it didn't exist back then.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it
Would have been nice though if it did.
Would have been. Would have, could have, should have.
But yeah, I mean, I'm certainly planning on coming back to MoABA. I think it was
Yeah.
a solid conference, very
We
solid.
will definitely come back. No
As
doubt.
long as someone's here.
Well, where is someone? Is it Missouri ABA?
Missouri or MoABA?
No.
Where's the emphasis?
You need MoABA. You need
MoABA?
You need-
MoABA?
No, you need MoABA in your life.
Woo!